Well, Thursday night was a great night in sim racing as we were lucky enough to witness Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Martin Truex making cameo appearances for the Governor's Cup 200 at Milwaukee. They would not be the only big names on hand this night as the DMP guys would show up in full force with 4 of the top 5 in points this year, including DMP champ Bob Bryant. Dustin McGrew would be the guy to steal the limelight by putting the very interestingly painted car on the pole. Just a blink of an eye slower and starting from the outside lane would be Kenny Smith in the Lucas Oil Chevy. The event would have a few logistical problems causing a late start, and this would also force the organizers to cut the event down to 100 miles. As things went green, McGrew got out to a quick lead but had a mirror full of the whole field. Things were looking great as the race got going, and we immediately saw some great racing, including Dale Earnhardt Jr. making his presence known quickly by going by Davies. Truex would also get his name seen on TV quickly by being part of the first wreck of the day as he sends Wheeler spinning going into turn 1. Getting back to green flag racing, we got a nice run and our leaders stayed in order of McGrew, Smith, and Alfalla. Meanwhile, Jr. had moved up into 4th place and was within striking distance of the leaders. It went this way for a few more laps until another caution caused by TJ Majors and pro Kenny Vett on the 20th lap. On this caution, everyone would pit except Ray Alfalla, who decided to stay out on tires with 20 laps of racing on them. 10 other drivers would stay out as well, giving Ray a slight cushion over the guys on fresh rubber. So our first lead change of the day would occur under caution as Ray Alfalla leading the way at the 1/4 mark in the Memorex Dodge. Thomas in 2nd place in the Monte Carlo and Robert Coulter in 3rd in the Sim Factory Chevy. Next wreck of the day would be DeBoer and Bryant, who ended up collecting Timmons on their way up into the corner. Alfalla, staying out, now runs 30 laps on tires for the restart. Things looked good at first as he opened up a large gap. The next caution came at lap 34 as Brandon Witt and Matt Thomas would have an incident in turn 3. This wouldn't stop Alfalla from testing the limits of his tires as he chose once again not to pit. Kenny Smith would also not pit and rotate himself forward into 2nd place on fresher tires than Alfalla. Caution would be a big part of the day as we would see wreck after wreck. The next restart is when Alfalla's tires could no longer keep up, and Smith would go by easily with Swindell tucked right behind, taking 2nd as well. A few laps later, Smith would let Swindell by rather than fight him, and the two would maintain a large lead over Michael McDowell in 3rd. Then in the middle of the race, things turned ugly. We would see caution after caution after caution. Sometimes the cautions would come out before the field even got rolling for a green flag. These drivers were showing each other no respect and racing very hard on cold tires, and it's the viewers that paid the price as we watched wreck after wreck. This would continue right up until the very end, where it would cross the 100-mile mark, and then began the green-white checkered pattern until a winner was declared. Restart lap 108. Green-white checker with Smith, Davis, Carter, and Taylor in the top 5. In this next restart, Earnhardt gives Davis a real good run into the corner, and they would stay side by side for a lap as Earnhardt pulls ahead. Kenny Smith wins by a good margin over Earnhardt, with Davis right behind. Carter and Taylor banging doors to the line, and Taylor taking the 4th spot over Carter in 5th. So at the end of a very long night, Kenny Smith was able to celebrate the win over Dale Earnhardt. This is definitely one of those cherished wins. We also saw a glimpse of the great racing that the Arca Sim is delivering.
Yes. So, Sean, man, we got a special guest in the booth here with us. Dale, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, no problem.
So, great race out there, man. We saw you come back from 20th and worked your way up through that pack.
Yeah, tires were pretty big. After about 15 laps, you could get new tires and really come up through the field pretty much however hard you wanted. But my strategy worked out really good, and if we'd have a few more green flags at the end, but I knew we wouldn't. But I was pretty happy with the strategy. I really wasn't sure how it was going to work out, but it worked out pretty good.
You were one of the only drivers coming down the stretch who had a really clean car. You seemed to keep your nose out of trouble all day long. A little trouble down the few laps to go, but great job of keeping that car clean. Was that part of your plan for the day?
Yeah, I mean, it's important if you, if you've been the fenders or the sides, it slows the car down a little bit. And the guys that have been working on the sim have it pretty accurate with that. So it's real important to stay off the wall and try not to bump into people and mess up your fenders.
Great to watch, some great battles. Had some good green flag runs, especially for 30-plus guys out there that hadn't really raced against each other. So must have been fun to be out there, man.
Yeah, it was. Dustin's real fast, and he must have got slowed up by the guy in front of him, and I just got in the back of him. But it's a good thing about this sim. Aside from that incident, you can bump pretty good and get into people, and they can recover, and you can run side by side and use each other up a little bit, and so that's pretty fun and makes it really, what makes it great is the packs stay pretty close. You can always find racing side by side, whether you're in the front or the back, and you can race pretty wide without worrying about getting spun out if you barely get touched like in other sims. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, no doubt. I'll attest to that. I was in the Pocono race just the other day and got bumped and banged a few times at high speed, man. It had some of those high-speed corners and was able to maintain no problem. I mean, like you were mentioning, you can definitely run close and do some bumping and banging, unlike some of the other sims that have been out there in the past.
Yeah, they did a good job. Hopefully, hopefully all the tracks are as enjoyable as the last two have been, Pocono and Milwaukee. And that's going to be an important key to the game, is that the track has, the tracks are in good shape and fun to race on. But I think, they're going to do all the work they need to do to make that happen. But it's been fun, and I enjoyed it. I didn't expect to be fast. When we started practicing today, I wasn't in good shape, but we got quicker.
Yeah, you were definitely quick out there, man. So speaking of these tracks, I mean, I'm sure I know you've run at Milwaukee and Pocono. How close to real are these things?
Well, I think you can really lay all the sims out there on top of each other as far as how close they get to the tracks. There's definitely, a ceiling that you can only get so good, and the tracks can only look so real. And they've all about got there. What's really important is that the game provides close, side-by-side hard racing and ability to pass, not single-file racing. You want to be able to pass, and you want to be able to get out of shape and gather it up, bump into each other without knocking each other into the fence and taking each other out of the race. And I'm seeing that here with the Arca sim.
Yeah, no doubt. I totally agree with you. Well, Dale, man, it's been great having you in the booth. Thanks so much for joining us, and it's been a pleasure watching. So, hey, man, quick question: are you going to be with us on Sunday at Talladega?
I'm not sure. I'm just case by case, race by race deal right now, showing up when I can, but. As much fun as it's been, I'll definitely have to try out Talladega.
Hey, right on, man. We'll be in the booth here. And good. Hey, man, we're both big fans of yours. Good luck in 2008 if we don't hear from you. And it's been great talking to you and great watching you race.
You got it, man. I appreciate it.
And today's winner, Kenny Smith.
So what's it like coming for the win and looking in the mirror and seeing nothing but a big Dale Earnhardt Jr. Hood in the mirror? How does that change things coming for the race win?
Oh, yeah, that changes a lot, seeing somebody like Dale Earnhardt Jr. coming through there. Not used to having all that pressure on you like that.